Jake Paul has just picked up a sixth-round KO win over Mike Perry over the weekend. And while the YouTuber-turned-boxer was expecting the fight world to kiss his feet and sing praise for him after bagging this win, he might have just created his own nightmare with this one. Did the problem child just create a monster in his own backyard? Well, the boxing community has been raising questions, and pros and pundits are exposing Jake's dirty tactics after his most recent showdown. If you're a fan of drama or just a boxing enthusiast, keep watching because you really don't want to miss this one out. Jake and Mike went toe-to-toe on July 20th, and yeah, it was a banger of a fight. But let's break it down. Mike was clearly outmatched. Size, weight, everything. It was like watching a grown man fight a kid. 3 knockdowns for Paul and a finish in the 6th. Looks good on paper, right? But come on, this isn't some underdog story. This is Jake Paul picking on someone way smaller than him. The boxing world is starting to catch on to Jake's game. The hand-picked opponents, the weight advantages, it's all starting to smell a bit off. People are calling him out, and rightfully so. The once shining star boy is starting to look more like a paper champion. This Perry fight might just be the turning point. The boxing community is demanding more. Real fights against real opponents. If Jake keeps playing it safe, his image is going to take a serious beating. He might have just dug his own grave with this one. Now, before we move forward with why Jake's biggest dreams have turned into one bad nightmare, it's important to get into the nitty-gritty of this fight. Choosing Mike Perry? That's like shooting fish in a barrel with a bazooka. Paul's team is handpicking opponents who don't stand a chance. It's starting to feel like a scripted reality show, not a legit fight. Floyd Mayweather summed it up, he's a businessman, not a fighter. Oscar De La Hoya didn't hold back either, calling Paul a clown and a disgrace to the sport. Even the usually reserved Alex Pereira took a shot at Paul, saying he lacks basic boxing skills. The boxing pros and fans are fed up with Jake's antics. They want real fights, not these overhyped sparring sessions. Jake Paul is becoming the villain of the boxing world, and honestly, it's a title he's earning. But wait, there's more drama. The boxing world is catching on to Jake Paul's game plan. It's not just about picking easy opponents, it's about controlling the entire narrative. This guy is pulling off a masterclass in manipulation. Jake doesn't just choose washed-up opponents or non-boxers. He sets up conditions that almost guarantee his success. We've seen it over and over. Weird weight classes, strange rules, and even hand-picking venues. It's like he's playing chess while everyone else is stuck playing checkers. And guess what? He's winning. Boxing experts are calling him out, saying Jake Paul is more about creating viral moments than proving himself as a true boxer. It's a sad state when a guy can build a career on gimmicks and smoke and mirrors. Listen, we all knew Mike Perry wasn't exactly a boxing mastermind, but Jake picking him was like shooting fish in a barrel. It's obvious he's cherry-picking opponents, and the pros are calling him out hard. These guys are saying Jake is a fraud, a clown who doesn't belong in the same ring as real boxers. And you know what? It's hard to disagree. Jake's record is looking like a who's who of retired MMA fighters and washed-up basketball players. It's a joke. Where are the real challenges? Where's the risk? It's like he's playing a video game in easy mode. The boxing community is tired of Jake's circus act. They want to see him fight someone who can actually box. Until then, this whole thing is just a big, shiny distraction. The boxing world has turned into a battlefield, and Jake's the only one taking the hits. After the Mike Perry fiasco, nobody wants to step into the ring with this guy. It's like the whole boxing community has united against him. Every pro fighter out there is throwing verbal jabs, and they're landing hard. It's clear that respect for Jake Paul is non-existent. Who's going to want to fight a guy who everyone knows is cheating? No one wants to be part of Jake Paul's circus show. His fights are becoming a laughingstock. Everyone sees through his act now. It's a sad fall from grace for a guy who had so much potential, but he brought this on himself. Greed, arrogance, and cheating have caught up with him. And now he's paying the ultimate price. The boxing world is moving on without him. On the flip side of things, Jake Paul is on cloud 9 right now. He's convinced he's the baddest man on the planet. Jake, being Jake, is trying to enjoy the sweet taste of victory. But does this victory even hold any weight? The boxing pros are raising questions. After knocking out Mike Perry, the guy thinks he's the new king of violence. He's running around like he just dethroned Tyson or something. I mean, beating up a guy who's clearly not a boxer doesn't make you a world beater. It's like winning a gold medal in the Special Olympics. It's great for your ego, but it doesn't mean you're ready for the big leagues.
I just believe in my power so much. I put him down in the first round, but he just kept coming. So respect to Mike Perry. That's why he's the king of violence, former king of violence. I'm the new king of violence.
Jake Paul is on a serious ego trip right now. Don't get me wrong. I know he made Perry kiss the canvas, but that doesn't mean he's invincible. The guy is calling out everyone from Alex Pereira to Canelo Alvarez. It's like he's trying to prove something, but to who? The boxing world is just rolling its eyes. This guy thinks he's the next Rocky Balboa after beating up a guy who looked like he was sleepwalking through the fight. It's embarrassing, really. Fans are starting to see through the hype. Jake Paul might be good at self-promotion, but his boxing skills are still questionable. He needs to chill out and focus on actually improving as a boxer instead of running his mouth. This win didn't cement his status as a legitimate boxer. If anything, it just showed the boxing community how big of a clown Jake is. This fight was supposed to be a turning point for Jake Paul, a chance to prove he was more than just a social media star. But instead, it solidified the narrative that he's carefully crafting his career. And the boxing world is not impressed. From seasoned veterans to casual fans, everyone is asking the same question. When is Jake Paul going to fight someone who can actually challenge him? The reality is sinking in. His carefully constructed image is crumbling. He's exposed as a fighter who relies on gimmicks and mismatches rather than pure boxing skill. And the worst part? He's got the biggest fight of his career looming on the horizon. Without the support of the boxing world, he's walking into a lion's den. As Jake himself might put it, this is a war. The jig is up, folks. The boxing world is starting to see Jake Paul for who he really is, a carefully crafted product. He's picked his opponents like a kid choosing candy, going for easy targets instead of tough challenges. It's time for the music to stop and the lights to come on. Jake Paul needs to put up or shut up. And now get ready for the craziest chapter yet. Jake Paul is actually fighting Mike Tyson. You heard that right? The problem child is set to step into the ring with Mike Tyson on November 15th at the AT&T Arena. Are you kidding me? The guy who struggles against YouTubers is facing the baddest man on the planet? This is either the bravest or dumbest move in boxing history. If he wins, it'll be the biggest upset since Rocky Balboa. But let's be real, beating up a 60-year-old legend doesn't exactly earn you a gold medal. Jake's got to stop playing games and start playing for keeps. Look, the party's over, Jake. The whole boxing world is turned on you. What more do you need? This could be a career-defining moment, and the problem child is wasting it. Beating up retired athletes or guys way out of their weight class isn't going to cut it anymore. Jake needs to step up and fight someone who can actually challenge him. This is the end of the Jake Paul hype train. Now, unless the problem child proves himself against a seasoned professional, there's no room for him among the pros of the boxing world. He can pick up as many wins as he wants, but they don't mean anything as long as Jake's going after old and crusty dudes with no boxing background. So there you go, Fight World, that's all I have for you today. What do you think about Jake being exposed after his fight with Mike Perry? Fill in the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.